Mountnugent, or Daly's Bridge, is in the parish of Kilbride, extending along the east shore of Lough Shilling in the barony of Clonmahon in the county of Cavan, the province of Ulster and in the diocese of Meath, 14 miles from Cavan town and 60 miles from Dublin on the road from Oldcastle to Granard. Originally a settlement at a ford on the River Inny, on an ancient roadway connecting Finney with East Breffni. The barony of Clonmahon became O'Reilly property in the early 14th century, when the Breffni clansmen advanced eastwards to challenge the encroachment of the Anglo-Normans. The most important O'Reilly stronghold was Cashlan on Locha, the castle on the lake, now known as Crover Castle, on a rocky inlet in Lough Shilling. This castle was erected by Thomas O'Reilly, who died in 1390. Mountnugent was formerly known as Daly's Bridge. This was in memory of a father, Hugh Daly, who was a parish priest here in the early 17th century. He had the bridge built at his own expense. This was changed to Mountnugent in 1762, when letters patent were issued to Robert Nugent of Bobsgrove to hold 2 yearly fairs and a weekly market in Mountnugent. Mountnugent is a thriving village and a former tidy town, winner in its category. Education played a large part in this area of Cavan. In the 18th century, from the well-known Lough Shilling Hedge schools at Crover to the Lava Latin School on the shores of Lough Shilling in the adjoining parish of Ballymakew. Numerous ring forts are evident in the surrounding areas. From the ring fort at Garrysolla there is an excellent view of the Hag's Chair on Cairn Tee, one of the Lough Crew cairns, a group of passage tombs dating from Neolithic times around 3000 BC. In Dungimmon Lower there is an Ogham stone. This is the second stone known to exist in Cavan. The crosses and Ogham inscriptions may belong to the 5th or 6th century. Carrycraft Visitors Centre and Basketry Museum is the only museum of its kind in Ireland of traditional baskets made from rush harvested each year from Lough Shilling, willow and straw. During the canonisation of St. Oliver Plunkett in Rome on the 12th of October 1975, one of the gifts presented to Pope Paul VI was a rush basket made here by Patricia Darcy, similar to this basket. Among the many crafts in the area includes patchwork and quilting. Here we see Mrs. Kathleen O'Reilly at work. Near to the village of Mountnugent is the famous trout fishing lake Lough Shilling. Lough Shilling covers an area of some 4,500 acres and is over 6 miles in length. The average weight of trout caught is over 2 pounds, with trout of 4 pounds and over regularly taken. The lake has helped to create a thriving boat building industry, which has been carried on for many centuries.
Well, I started off to work with my uncle in '61, and I was with him for 8 years, and he passed away, and I set up here myself in 1972. I'm the 5th generation in boat building in this area. Started off in 1830. But this is the platform here, and this is the planking that you started off with, and this is the ribs, and that's the seating, and this is the flange board, they call this here for the decking, and this is the gunwale, and that's the stem there, that's the keel. Back down here now, and I'll show you this is the transom, and the stern post, and the gusset, they call that there, that little piece in there.
Shilling Boats. This workshop to manufacture fiberglass boats was erected in 1988 by Michael McCabe. The first boats were sold in 1990. They also make boat trailers and dog boxes. Shilling Boats are the largest fiberglass boat builders in Ireland. As well as the Irish market, they have a large export trade.
Fishing is a disease. It's something that I think is in your blood. You do it because I don't know. It's every kid's dream to be a fisherman or a footballer, I suppose, or whatever.
It's a beautiful area around the lake itself.
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. And as lakes go, I think Lough Shilling is magnificent is the word, It's islands, the beautiful islands out here. The near island here has the Crover Castle on it, the Riley stronghold, and attracts a lot of tourists, a lot of English people now, and a lot of Germans, of course, on the far end to Finney. A lot of the houses here would be let as well, Chrissy, in the summertime to a lot of English people come and Dutch people, Belgian people. So, it is a great attraction, great amenity.
On April the 24th, 1999, Jim Riley of Pollykeele caught a 14 3/4 pound brown trout on the lake. Jim is an accomplished fisherman and has many excellent catches to his name. There were many large estates on the shores of Lough Shilling. One of these famous houses is now Crover House Hotel. Crover House Hotel has mature gardens stretching down to the shore, with its own boat pier, self-catering chalet and golf course, an idyllic setting for any occasion. Another of the famous estates is Farnconnell House, now in the ownership of Miles Stoney, nephew of Mrs. Alison Hirschberg, the last surviving member of the Nugent family.
The Nugent family started in Delvin after they came over from France. And then they went to Fore, and they lived a branch of them lived in Fore for a long time. And then that branch came further and got land round here at Farnconnell.
How many acres of land did the estate have?
Well, I suppose it must have had, maybe 12,000 or so, perhaps even more, because they stretched up into Cavan and they overlapped into Westmeath and Meath. And I know that they had the northern side of the lake, quite a lot there, going up towards Kilnalek and that way.
Now, who lives here now?
Who lives here now? My nephew, my older sister's son. And he is carrying on with the farm, I'm glad to say.
He came here in 74?
74, yes, 74.
And went into sheep farming.
And went into, yes, he tried a bit of the old-fashioned farming first and found, like all of us, it wasn't paying. And he or his wife Susan, I don't know which one, thought up the sheep. And they bought a flock of pedigree French Vendine sheep to start the flock. And they've grown ever since. They now keep a pedigree flock, small numbers, and they keep a big commercial flock of a couple of hundred or so, 300-400.
Mm-hmm. You're very fond of the woods.
Very, yes.
You've planted a lot of trees.
I did a lot of planting actually. I must have planted, my father planted before me and he gave me the urge. And as storms took down the older trees, we'd clear spaces and plant again. And I certainly planted 800-900 trees.
And these old trees around
And
the
they're
house.
getting quite big now, yes. But we're losing the very old trees just through age. And then when the big winter storms come, some of them just can't stand up anymore.
This region is rich in limestone and some beautiful limestone kilns remain. Ross quarries were a very fine and much worked limestone quarries. Before the arrival of mechanical help, 40 stonemasons worked here, cutting, chiselling and carving stone for a wide range of buildings. Stone from this quarry was used in the building of Leinster House, St Mel's Cathedral, Longford and Kylemore Abbey in Connemara. Ross Castle, the great tower castle of Ross, built early 16th century by Richard Nugent, Baron of Delvin. By 1640 this castle was in ruins, but it is now completely restored and in private ownership. Associated with Ross Castle is the legend of Orwin and Savannah.
The graves that you can see here behind us is the grave of Orwin and Savannah. Savannah was Savannah Nugent that lived in Ross Castle down the road here. And Orwin was Orwin O'Reilly, one of the O'Reillys of Breffni. And he came to stay at Crover Castle after the Battle of Lahooter to recover from his wounds. And the Nugents and the O'Reillys were bitter enemies. And she crossed the lake one day in her little boat and she heard music coming from Crover Castle, and she went to investigate where the music was coming from, and she discovered Orwin living at the ruins of the old castle. And they got into conversation and he told her about he'd been at the Battle of Lahooter and had fought against her brother in that battle. And she went home and she heard the talk going on about the big battle that was at Lahooter and how the Nugent chap had saved this O'Reilly fella. So she went back with food to him and they eventually fell in love. She used to go over every day in her little boat over to see him on the island and bring him food and that. And she developed a fever, and for several weeks she didn't get over to the island. And when she did get back to it, there was no sign of Orwin, and she searched around and that she found his body on the shore, that he also had died of this fever. And she brought him home to Ross, to the castle, and they waked him there, and then they brought him up here and they buried him in this grave behind me. And the story goes that in a few weeks later she died of a broken heart and she was buried here along with him, and that they were both buried standing up, the coffins on their end, so that they could look out over Loch Shilling. It was the place that they loved so well.
In the Ross area, there is excellent tourist accommodations such as Ross House and Equestrian Centre. The Gaelic Athletic Association play an important part in the social life of Mount Nugent.
Well, the club here in Mount Nugent was formed in 1887 and it's going strong up to the present day.
Where did you play before this pitch was open?
Well, we played down on a pitch close to Mount Nugent there. We acquired this pitch in the early 90s and developed it, built these club rooms. So we opened the pitch in 1906. Cavan and Mead played here for the Connie Kelly Cup. Connie being a great player of the Mount Nugent and Cavan and Mead, it was only appropriate that he be honoured on that day.
We had players in the years in the Cavan County team.
Yeah, we were blessed with great players. We had a lot of players on the county team down through the years at junior level, at senior level. It was very appropriate that on 47 in the polo grounds we had three great players in the name of Mick Higgins, Tony Ty and Peter Donoghue. It was great for a little club like Mount Nugent to have such players.
You still have a high standard of players in your team at the moment?
We still have a high standard of players, even though we're junior. we're a junior club, but we have a great underage structure. There's a great blend of players coming through from underage. At the moment, we have some players playing on the county at underage level, and that speaks for itself.
So this trend will run through the future and the next generations and probably the next century.
Oh, we intend that with the committees that's involved here in Mount Nugent. We have great working committees and great secretary and treasurer and John Duffy and Peter Boylan, and we have great other committees there that run the senior citizens, yourself included, Chrissy, here at Christmas party for the senior citizens. We run the local festival in Mount Nugent on the August bank holiday, and we have a local lotto going. At present we have a car draw going, and without committees like that, work would have been impossible.
Do you intend to develop the club rooms a little further in the future too?
Yeah, we intend to have our pitch developed. We intend to put nets at the back of the goals. There's a wooden floor to go into our club rooms, maybe a permanent stage. A few things like that we develop. We're ongoing developing all the time.
Apart from the GAA activities, the club rooms are used for badminton, indoor bowls and rehearsals for junior and senior score. In 1999, 1,300 native Irish oak trees were planted around the grounds in the names and memories of loved ones and friends. We take leave of Mount Nugent and spend the remaining few moments in Mullameen. Mullameen Forest covers 1,000 acres and is the largest planted beech forest in Western Europe. Developments are ongoing and Coilsha are providing picnic areas, new walks and trails, car parking and helpful signposting.
I can still remember our little cottage by the shore, those country roads where we once strolled, now I long to see once more. But someday I'll go back there, to the place I used to know, to that lovely part of Cavan, round Loch Shilling and my home, to look around at Crover's shore and sit upon the pier. I'll see again those fishermen who come there every year. In the summertime there you will find that you'll never feel alone. That lovely part of Cavan, round Loch Shilling